I suppose it's sort of, it's like the excitement of a close game. You don't really want it to be a blowout, you want it kind of close. And we were just talking about, on this side of the table, about the towns around here, Granger and Woodward and Perry, and which towns had more Republicans, which towns had more Democrats, which were about equally divided, and it seems like they're kind of all of the above. So anyhow, what I like to do, I'm open to whatever you want to do. You're probably as full as I am. I think I think I'm slipping into what they call food coma, right? So you'll clearly forgive me if I start to stagger and stumble around here after that flaming picket fence ice cream dessert. That's about enough to do me in. I'm about ready for my evening nap, I think. But what I thought I'd do is read a little bit from Corn Pole, and the idea for this novel started during the last caucus cycle. And I had decided after many, many years of living in Iowa and voting in Iowa that I was going to give the Iowa caucuses my all. I was going to finally give them what they deserved. Now you guys were probably better than I am at this, right? You probably, I'm hoping, you probably have been attending your caucuses for years, probably loyally, and you've been doing all the right things that citizens should do. Well, I really would kind of consider myself a lapsed caucus. Maybe it's because, like a lot of folks, like in my 20s, I was in school a good deal, so it was hard to caucus. Sometimes I was at school out of state, so that whole part of my life, I didn't get to participate the way I wanted to. And I decided last time around I was going to just gorge myself on the Iowa caucuses. I was going to go to just any and every event. I didn't care how many miles I put on my car. At the end of the whole thing, I think I had 250,000 miles on it, but of course I started with, probably 200,000. I went to every little thing I could. I think I literally had, those alerts sent to my phone that would tell you when the next event was. Of course, it was primarily a Republican year, so I was mostly going to Republican events, but no event was too small for me. And I can remember the town in northwest Iowa, Holstein. Do you know Holstein? It figures a little bit in this novel. I went to one event in Holstein with Rick Santorum, just at a coffee shop, and literally sat right next to him on the couch, just two guys having a coffee, and so I got to see a lot during those caucus visits and those traveling all over the state, and eventually that worked its way into this novel. And as I was saying the other day in an interview, I saw the best of times and the worst of times, right? It was like Charles Dickens, I suppose. I saw things that I believe, only really happen in Iowa, in our caucuses. Just the access that we have, both the way that we can hold politicians' feet to the flames, and also the way that we can treat them as fallible human beings. We can look them in the eye. I saw, genuine hugs given. I saw stories of real suffering told to politicians, and politicians respond with real heart to those things. And then I saw the usual bad and boorish behavior too, from candidates who were too busy to shake a hand, or too busy to answer a question, or whatever it might be. So all that kind of worked its way in here, and I decided, I didn't intend to write this, but when people have asked, I've described it all going to all these caucus events, mostly by myself, good and dragging. Who else could I get to go to a caucus event on a Monday afternoon in a community center in Anamosa, Iowa, at 10 a.m. Who else am I going to get to go? So I'd go by myself, and I witnessed so much and saw so much. It was kind of like going to a movie by yourself, where you come out of it and you feel the need to talk about it. And you turn to the non-existent person beside you, and there's no one to talk about it with. So you end up sort of processing it, while you're doing the dishes, while you're doing farm work, whatever. And you never quite know what's going to come out. And what came out after, a year or so of thinking about what I witnessed was this novel.